I'm Rob, I'm an MS reporter, and today I'm interviewing Joachim, and I'll be asking Joachim a few questions about HSCT therapy here at ECTRIMS.
Stem cells.
So first of all, Joachim, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself and just give us a bit of an insight into your role.
So I'm a clinical neurologist and also a clinical researcher. I've been working with HSCT now for a little bit more than 10 years. I see almost all of our patients myself, and at this point we've treated nearly 100 patients at our center.
And just from kind of looking at our community online, there's a lot of kind of conversation about HSCT, and there's a lot of excitement about it. What's it like kind of being part of something that's kind of almost a bit of a figurehead in terms of treatment in MS?
I don't see myself as a figurehead, but I think it's really exciting to be an MS neurologist, even if I didn't work with this particular procedure, because it's so much things happening right now, and we really see a surge of effective treatments that can help people in a way that was really impossible 20 or 25 years ago.
And we get a lot of feedbacks kind of along the lines of HSCT isn't given enough attention from kind of clinicians and enough of a focus as a treatment. Do you think that it needs to be more of a household kind of name or a first step in terms of treating MS?
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that point. It's an underused treatment. It's not for everyone, especially not for patients with progressive disease today, because we simply don't have enough data to promote it in that patient category. But for relapsing remitting MS, patients who are not responding so well to first or second line drugs, this really is an excellent alternative.
When do you think we'll have the data to be able to act in terms of progressive MS?
That's really difficult to answer, because you need a clinical trial and someone has to fund that clinical trial, and as of today I have not seen anyone willing to fund such a trial.
So hopefully in ECTRIMS 2020 we'll see some trials. Do you think what needs to happen for that to happen?
Well, I wish I could answer that question in a better way. I simply don't know, and at this point it has been hard to promote this to fundraisers.
Okay, and talking about your presentation this morning, what can you tell people kind of at home that's going on behind the scenes in terms of HSCT research in the minute?
Right, so at this point HSCT is gaining sort of a approved or semi-approved status in a lot of countries. It was approved in Sweden, which is a part of the European Union, in 2016 for a more general use in clinical practice, and it's also gaining traction in the UK as well as in Switzerland and the United States and a lot of other different countries. And I think the main point is that this is really not a drug like all the other MS treatments, but it is a procedure, like a surgical procedure. And just like surgical procedures, you can do that in several different ways. They all have their merits and their downsides. At our site, we promote safety, so we try to do this in a way that is as safe as possible, but still retaining as much efficacy that is, one of the reasons of doing this. At other sites, they promote efficacy, and then the downside is that probably it's not as safe as it would be if you had used less intensive protocols. And the rules for procedures are a little bit different than the rules for drugs. So procedures don't have to go through the same type of regulatory process that drugs do. So typically, if you want to use a drug, then you have to go to the EMA or the FDA to get it approved. In this type of procedure, we're already using FDA and EMA approved drugs. We're just using them in a new combination and for diseases that has not been, that they were not licensed for originally. That means that you have basically three questions that you must ask yourself. Is this efficacious? Is this safe? And is this cost effective? And with the trials that has now been published, it's reasonable I would say it's even proven that it's more efficacious than most of the available FDA-approved drugs and EMA-approved drugs. Safety has always been a concern, very reassuring.
Can you unpick the safety element a little bit as well? What do you actually mean by the safety of the treatment?
What I mean by safety? Okay, so with safety, there's always been a concern of treatment-related mortality. And very reassuringly, there was no treatment-related mortality in the clinical trial, the MISS trial, which I was a part of. Also, at our center, we have not seen any treatment-related mortality. So that's a huge improvement over the numbers we have heard about and seen maybe 10 years ago or 20 years ago when the mortality rates were substantial. And I think this is due to better patient selection. This is due to increased experience and refinement of the protocols used for the conditioning regimen. So all this has led to that this is a much safer procedure now than it was 20 years ago.